Hey, good morning. So it's Monday morning and it's 10:10. I'm headed to look at a project together with my install team. This is a little bit of a unique project. It's not just a real lovely project. It's not horrible, but it's a crawl space. It's a little bit low. So I'm en route there right now. This morning I spent a little time in the office, going through a little bit of mail that I needed to look at, and just kind of lining things out for the week. I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow. I leave tomorrow morning really early, so I wanted to make sure I had most of the things that were hanging out there kind of wrapped up. So I'm going to look at this project this morning. I've got another project in Rennes that new construction project we need to wrap up there. So they're working on that, and then we've got our commercial school project that we are working on today as well. Zach's on a call this morning where we installed a system a couple years ago, and he was going back, it's about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he was going back on a complimentary maintenance. When we install a new system, we like to go back within the first year. Sometimes that appointment gets pushed off a little bit. This one got pushed off just a little bit longer than we liked. But he's on that call, and he is just finalizing everything. It was a variable speed system with a zoning system, so Cadillac of a system. He's just going through and making sure everything was installed properly, still running correctly. He had a few little adjustments he had to make to the zoning. He's taking some footage on that. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that he's wrapping all that up. And yeah, looking forward to it. It's a beautiful day. Looking forward to a great day here. And yeah, just got to make sure I get everything fit in and lined out before I leave. Kylie's also going to be out of the office starting Wednesday. So her and I are both going to be gone this week, so it's going to be interesting. But we've got everything covered, I think. Plus, it's February, so it's not very busy. And we're supposed to have very mild weather this week. So it's a great week to finalize and finish up things that are kind of hanging out there, if there are any. And it's also a great time to think about, preparing for the spring that's going to come. There's not a lot of things that we're maybe working on right now, but there are some things that we still need to get done. And it's a great time to work on all those things because there's work to be done, but it's not real busy. So you want to try to be proactive if possible at all. So when the summer hits, it gets crazy and you don't have any time to be proactive. It's just, you feel like you're just reacting at that point. So anyways, catch up with you a little later today.
Hey, I'm Zach with Giesbrecht, and I'm doing a 1-year inspection on a zone system we installed. And here is the master stat downstairs. And this system has 2 zones, one for the downstairs and then one for the upstairs as well. So downstairs would be your master thermostat, and then up here is your secondary thermostat. So the master will override your secondary thermostat. And then the next step would be from the thermostat, you come to your zone panel, which actually takes all the information from the thermostats and tells it which zone to open. So we have 2 zones, right there and right there. And this system can actually tell you what stage it's in. We also have a discharge static pressure kit hooked up, and right now it's at 0.86. And what that does is take the airflow static pressure from the return side and the filter side and communicates it to your zone panel. And then from the zone panel, it plugs into these motorized dampers. These are power open and power close. And right here, you can see this one is open, and you can tell that by, if you see that little one down there, there you go, you can see it, how that is pushed all the way against that one. And this side, you see the other side of the damper, there is a 0 right over here, And if it's pushed on that 0, it means it's closed. So that one is actually opened, and that one is actually closed. And you have a variable speed air handler, and this is your static pressure kit. There's your return air going into your little communication device to your zone panel, and then there's your static pressure plugged right into your supply duct.
Okay, I'm under a house looking at why the ductwork doesn't work, and you can see that this pipe going out there, and you go look there, and there is a pretty good sized gap there, and inside of there doesn't look real pretty inside that duct. So here I'm going to measure insulation on a duct. You see that? How that's the tip of a screwdriver. See how little is there? It's less than a 1/4 inch. That is completely deteriorated. There's nothing left on that duct. We'll move up here a little bit further. It was pulled too tight from when they installed it. You can see that I'm hidden. I'm not even going in. You see that? This is a little midget screwdriver, and it should be going up to about here, or maybe somewhere about there is where it should go up to. So you can see that you have no insulation whatsoever. And there's a pretty good sized gap right there if you look close.
Okay, so I'm here measuring a house, and I do this simply by taking and I do a little drawing here on my pad, and then I draw my windows, I draw vent locations, and I don't draw this to scale, but I just put all my measurements down, and then we take that back to the office and draw it on an actual computer layout. All right, so this is the old unit we're removing right here. This is up in the crawl space what we're removing as well. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be taking this hole that's here and making it as part of what the duct will come through for the package unit. So we'll start on the left here and go right 48 inches, and then take a shovel and dig down to the same level as the crawl space is at, and that way we can have, I think Jonathan said it was 21 inches for sure, 22 inches give or take, all the way down, and then from here out we want to be about 36 inches, and then we'll take and lay, this will be at a later time, we don't have to do this right away, but we'll lay some 4-inch solid blocks here on either side of that new opening, and that is where our shroud cover will bolt down onto those blocks, tie into the unit and the pad, and that way it'll be all rain proof, rain tight, watertight, whatever you want to call it, and no water can get under the house. The other things we have to figure out as we're doing this is that about right here is where the supply duct will go straight in. We've decided an H system is going to work the best, and there's a block wall under the house that runs in the middle lengthwise, and that a duct will need to go through that wall. So we need about a 24 to 32 inch opening there. One other item is the return. One of the returns is more about this side of the house here. So we'll come and go under that main line, and so we'll have to dig out under the house on this side of the block wall for that return to come under that main line. I think I'm correct on that, unless all of a sudden that return is on the other side of the block wall, but I think it's on this side if I remember correctly. So those are the main details of how this will get opened up and how that will come together. Okay, so it's 2:35 in the afternoon, 2:40, actually 2:40, and on Monday here. So just met with Zach at the church change-out project. We're replacing a system there, and he's getting that. He had to reclaim all the refrigerant from the system so that we could remove the copper tubing and remove the whole system. So I met with the install team over there, getting them started on removal of that system. And yeah, so I'm coming back to the office now this afternoon I need to work on a few things that Kylie and I talked about this morning. It's more like sales stuff. There was some sales items that needed to be updated in our pricing book, and I've got some mail that I still need to go through. Always never ending on that, and just in general get ready for wrapping up the day here, so that I'm prepared to leave tomorrow. So I think I've got everything pretty much taken care of and handled that needs to be immediately. I've got a few details, like my truck needs to go in the shop for a couple items. I need to make arrangements for that while I'm gone. I have called, made sure my class in Texas is not canceled due to low enrollment, and they say everything is on go. So looking forward to that. So I'm going to do some work here in my office, and then we'll get cranking. All right, so it's 4:45, right at it, and I'm here in the airport getting ready to head out for my meeting in Dallas. Looking forward to a great trip, and hopefully everything's on schedule. I've got a connecting flight in Atlanta, so hopefully everything goes well. It's quiet, people are quietly sleeping or reading, so I'm looking a little odd here filming at the moment. But we've got a couple things going on today. We're starting a new change-out project, and I can't remember what all Zach's going to be working on exactly, but Cliff's coming in today, so I've got a couple things for him to work on. And just our team meeting is going to happen this morning at 7:30 like normal. But yeah, it's going to be a big day. It started this morning at 2:15, I think it was 2:20. So we'll see how I'm feeling at about 5 or 6 o'clock this afternoon.
So this is a no heat call on an old Carrier. Yeah, really old Carrier. He said 5 other companies have looked at it. Same thing. Inducer fan, and I mean, it's a mess. There's a dirt dauber nest in the heat exchanger. So all that would have to get cleaned out. I'm gonna pull some of this insulation back, see if it's even worth putting a motor in it. And actually, might be able to put a motor in it and it'd be okay. It's not too bad. This is a 22 system. From 1991. So I'll let you hear this motor. The blades are about to come off the shaft pretty much. We already know that needs to be replaced. I haven't even checked the refrigerator yet. It's raining, so do the best we can with it.
I'm glad I did it when I did it. What I want you guys
guys to do is fully immerse yourself in like I did. I just absorbed everything I possibly can, ate it up. First thing they did, just like they did with you guys, is they said, hey, we're gonna put you in a group of other contractors. Guys, I don't know if you know the benefit. I was used to dealing with other contractors on a competitive basis. I would see them in the restaurant and we're like,
Happened. We putted back. They had a 3 horsepower engine on the back of that boat, and we putted back. It took about 48 minutes to get back to the harbor and put it up for the night. But a sailor knows, and Jerome knew, here's how you work with the wind. So if it's blowing against you, you change the sails some way, and then you move to the side instead of going straight forward. You fix your direction and what you're doing with that boat depending on the wind. You adjust the sails depending on the wind.
All right, so it's 4:55 in the afternoon. Been in class all day. You can see a few clips that I took while I was in class. We learned a lot of great stuff. We've covered marketing was a big thing today, and a little bit about personal mindset, business mindset, some of those kind of things, but a lot about marketing. Got a lot of notes, got a lot of things to work on, a lot of things that I knew already, a lot of things I know that we need to work on, but just kind of re-emphasizing that. And I've put together some action plans of some big things that I want to try to get going here. So waiting on my lift to the hotel, and yep, this closes out the day. Looked like Brian got some footage on a service call that he was on. I'm not sure about Zach for sure at the moment, but I think he's got some stuff too. So yeah, all good stuff. Long day, but feeling great.
All right, I'm over here at a church we're doing. So it looks like we got the outdoor unit set. The new line set is ran, and there's power going into the disconnect box. They just need to tie everything into the unit itself, and it does look, everything looks good. And on the inside, looks like they got the new thermostat wire ran. And they got the new unit in place. There's a filter right there. They got the new line set run down to here. Your new thermostat wires ran. They got the plenum, supply plenum tied back on. And here's your return plenum in place. So it looks like they just have to tie everything into this unit as well. Power and low voltage and braze. And that should be all that's left. And also add put a new thermostat up as well.
All right, so good morning. It is, what is it? Is it Wednesday morning? Yeah, it's Wednesday morning. Man, the days are getting mixed up. It's right at 9:10. I was supposed to be in class at 9, but I got delayed a little bit this morning. Went on a run and took a turn and didn't know exactly where all I was going anyways. Ended up running a little further than I planned on. It took a little longer. And so, but I'm waiting on my Lyft driver right now in front of my hotel. Should be here shortly. Traffic is busy this morning out here on the main drag. And it looks like my Lyft is arriving right. Anyway, so yeah, headed to my meeting. Hopefully be there by 9:30. Let's get some footage today.
So I'm out here in Millen, and said the AC wasn't working. So I get here, check for high voltage, it was there. nothing visually looked burnt or anything like that. Tested for low voltage. Started here. There's nothing. So this little circuit breaker is in that little hole. You can reset it back in there. And it was popped. It's a 3.2 amp. Tried resetting it and it would just keep popping. And I ohmed it out and it just keeps popping and it doesn't check out very good. So I put my popper on there. It's a 5. And everything worked. But this is tripping off of much less than 3.2 amps. It pops as soon as you hook it up. So instead of buying one of these, I'm just going to put a blade fuse in there and mount it. I'm going to mount it right here. Some of the strap, make a little, I don't know, I'll secure it somehow. There's not a fuse on the board, so we'll mount it somewhere, make it look nice.
We're not going to spend a lot of time doing that every week in your entries for payroll. The more detail you can get, the better, but if it's going to cost you more time and labor inside your accounting system or your bookkeeper to make these entries every week, it's not worth it. So I don't want that to confuse
Sorry,
you.
could you scroll back up to the top, because someone was asking a question at break, I want to comment on, go to the labor section, I'm sorry.
With my mouse.
I know,
It's my angle.
I know.
I can find one. What was it on? The cost of
It's
this?
like row 90 maybe.
Top
Yeah.
3, that gives you a 2.5 markup. So if you want to take your $10 item and mark it up by 2.5, you will get a 60% gross margin.
What we typically have done in the industry, a lot of times, is we say, I want a 40% gross margin, so I take all my costs and I multiply it by 1.4. You will not get a 40% margin. We did the same thing in profit. You'd say, I want a 15% profit, and you multiply all your costs by 1.1.
First joined, we jumped into it right away, came to boot camp like you guys did, it's a great start, and we got an AV group. I would say within 2 months, wouldn't it, we were just like, this group is not driving with us. Something is not there for us, and we both were feeling it, and so I reached out and said, hey, can we move to another one? Well, I got lucky enough to be part of John LaPlante is our mentor. And so, again, I felt very privileged for that. And then as John was stepping away, Tom Peregrini stepped
This
in.
is a first. I was riding down the road, started smelling plastic burning, and I just have this rigged up for now because that adapter, you have to hold it down to get it to work. But here's my old one, and it's burnt up. But I had my phone charger plugged into it, and look at that. It wasn't plugged into anything, but it was about to catch on fire. So I always unplug this anyway, just pull it up enough to where it's disconnected. But you know, you might want to think about doing that. I've never had that happen before.
Okay, so it's like 1:55. I'm here. It's the first time I had a chance to really film much. I filmed a little bit this morning in the meeting. Learned about culture this morning, and then we're learning about some of the key performance indicators that a lot of the members of this organization are reporting. Not the target numbers, not the goals, but the actual true percentage numbers. They're not dollar amounts, they're percentages. So one thing we're learning through all of this is that when you run your business, it's so important to run it off of percentages, not numbers, because the numbers, if you run it off of a dollar amount, not numbers, dollar amount, that can be misleading for sure when you're starting to grow a company, because a dollar amount could look okay, but a percentage could actually be off if you run the percentages. So it's pretty simple to do that if you have the right reporting tools in place to do that with. So we're learning about that this afternoon. We're on break right now, so I just stepped outside to get some fresh air, and yeah, looking forward to see what we're going to learn yet this evening or this afternoon.
So I'm at a new install in Evans. Dampers, disconnect, zone panel, relay panel. It's pretty tight up here.
Maintenance department, okay? The other 150 stays on the balance sheet. And then when the second call is made in April, the remaining 150 of that comes over and gets revenue to the maintenance department. So at the end of the month, your bookkeeper has to see how many maintenance calls we ran, and then they have to move that amount out of the warranty reserve to sales for maintenance.
I'm not a professional, so bear with me. It's a blues song. It was in response to all these complaints I got. I was the client relations manager.
Very well.
This is really weird. I usually forget the lyrics in the second verse. Holy cow.
We all understand.
I just sang it 30 minutes ago downstairs.
That's how it starts.
And what's funny is I did forget the second verse. I'm thinking, and I finally got it. So as I was coming up here, I'm thinking, remember the second verse? It starts like this. And now I get from the first verse.
We can take a little break.
Lady called today and she acted really mean. She said her washer was still broken and her carpet wasn't clean. The prices and she at the time, but she really threw a fit when I told her to kiss mine. Had all I can take and I can't stand anymore, so just hand me that old broom and let me start sweeping the floor. I'm going home. Oh yeah, I'm going home. Going home, where I don't have to use no phone. With all these client relations, how come I still feel all alone? My wife thinks I'm a monster and I can't get any sleep. Today my kitty broke his leg. I said, hop you little creep. I think my life's affected by the and moans, but I got some bills to pay, so I'll just keep on keeping on. I'd just be glad to hear the words your tech was so polite, but each time the tunnel seems to end, the train comes through the light. I'm going home. Oh yeah, I'm going home. I'm going home, where I don't have to use no phone. How come I still feel all alone?
Do a little static pressure check on it. I can't show you the live monitor feed, but it's at roughly 0.58, 0.62. And should be it's tested at 0.5. NCI says 0.8 is ideal. So we're good there. She was having some thermostat issues upstairs and it was unresponsive. I just took it off the wall, put it back on the wall, and recalibrated the screen that those trains do right at first. You get 4 seconds to do it. You touch a little arrow in 5 spots around the screen, and it fixed it. So far, everything looks good.
So our refrigerant, we're getting like 0.4 superheat and like 5, 6 subcooling. The pressures look kind of fine, but if you notice, this board has a 9 flash and a 2 flash as well. So a 2 flash on your EEV board is control has detected internal failure, replace board. A 9 flash is low superheat and cooling mode, indoor TXV stuck open or indoor fan failure. So this board probably has to be replaced for one, because it's saying it has an issue with itself. And then I'll go check out the indoor fan, make sure everything's working good there, and indoor TXV.
So I'm out here in Millen again. Blown fuse. So had some weird stuff going on with the in between common and a couple low voltage wires, but there was a short right there. Right there in that corner on the coil, on the sensor. There's a rubbing right here. So, that is the second short I found. But this is the one that was more than likely blowing the low voltage here.
Provide their own loyalty rebates. So I don't want you to get that confused. It's not where you have to choose between one or another. You get it all. So in this case with A.L. Smith, the same with Renai, the same with Bradford White, they all have their own type of loyalty program. Contractors Reward is a little different. It's because you have to go in and register. Keep hearing me say register. And it's because these companies are so big, how are they gonna track your purchases? So if you think of it like that, you're like, oh yeah.
Maintenance department, okay? The other 150 stays on the balance sheet. And then when the second call is made in April, the remaining 150 of that comes over and gets revenue to the maintenance department. So at the end of the month, your bookkeeper has to see how many maintenance calls we ran, and then they have to move that amount out of the warranty reserve to sales for maintenance.
All right, so it's 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I got out of class actually early today. First time I've had a chance to really film, but a couple things. We've been setting class from like 9 this morning till 3 this afternoon, I think it was. Caught a lift back to my hotel, and I've been working on some stuff here. Had some personal stuff to work on, and then when I got a call on my phone, this is typical of some stuff that can happen. I got a call on my phone from a guy that, or a customer that Zach had went on an appointment for. And the issue is that the system wasn't cooling and it needed to have a new refrigerant regulating valve installed. At the time, the customer didn't have the money. They said, hey, we're gonna wait till next week. And so we said, okay, no problem. As part of the diagnosis, Zach had added a little bit of refrigerant to the system. And they call back today and say, hey, the compressor is making a funny noise. You need to come back out and figure out what's going on, or else you're going to be liable. So Zach is having to go back out yet tonight, EST in Georgia, Eastern Standard Time. It's 6:30 or it's 6 o'clock there, so he'll probably get there about 6:15, 6:30, and he's going to try to make that customer happy. Had a little back and forth over the phone. It's a little hard to know how to handle the situation, but anyways, we're going to try to do the right thing. I don't know if we'll retain a client or retain a customer and make them into a client or not, but needless to say, this is how we're going to handle it. So these are the kind of situations that come up when you're in the air conditioning business, and it can be a little challenging to know how to handle some of that. But anyways, learned a lot of great stuff again today. Got out early. I wish I had booked my flight for sooner rather than flying out tomorrow morning, but that's okay. I've got things to work on, got things to do. It's not like I don't have anything to do and sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Jonathan made great progress on the change-out project, or the new installation project we're working on, and Dustin finished up the church change-out project as well. It looks great. We've got some pictures of that. I don't know if we have any video footage at all, but we've got some pictures. So we're making good progress this week with the items that we're working on, and hopefully we'll close out the week. Brian's on call this weekend, so we'll see if anything comes in. It's been really warm back home and humid, not like super warm, but really humid, and so a lot of people are turning the air conditioning on. So if you find yourself to be one of those people that hasn't turned the air on yet, go ahead and turn it on, try it out, see if it's working. Chances are you might not have any issues, but if you need it, we can maintain, fix, repair, whatever you need, and figure out what the problem is. One of the challenges in this kind of weather is that maybe it's not really hot, but you have high humidity, so you could actually just need like a dehumidifier running. And that's when it's nice to have like a dehumidification system that's integrated into your whole home. But that's something that not a lot of people will invest in because they just don't want to invest that extra money. But it is something that you can do, and it can greatly help your humidity levels. So, yep, that's all for today. See you tomorrow.
I'm doing a leak search. I don't know if you can see it. See it? Little bubbles. That is feeding TXV, the equalizer tube. You can see little bubbles on the bottom. See them flickering? It's real tight right here. Let's see now. See them? Nice little bubbles. So that's well, I say easily repairable. I don't know. Getting a torch in here. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. Yeah. I think I can do it. I'm gonna talk to the customer about what I found, what I can do. But today we're just gonna, he wants to nurse it and give it some refrigerant to get it cooling, at least through the summer.
All right, so it's been a great week. Spent 4 days in Texas myself learning about how to run a business properly, things that I should have known 10 years ago, just learning now. So great times, met a lot of great, wonderful people, made some good connections. So looking forward to learning or implementing some of the things that I learned, and through that process actually learning even more. But anyways, Kylie was gone for a bit this week as well, and somehow with her and I both gone, Brian, Zach, and my dad and Kirsten held everything together. Cliff was here too. He helped out fill in the gaps with answering the phone, doing whatever. So shout out to all the team that made everything work while both of us were gone. And so it was great. Click here to watch last week's video. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching.